Hello, investors. It's Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Wednesday, July 30th, 4:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Coming to you with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market state still in an uptrend. If we take a look at the trend gauge on the right side of the screen, market leaders in grow mode continue to act well. Short term, we are still above that 21 EMA and 67 consecutive closes above, going strong. Medium term above the 50-day moving average. And as you can see, took off that yellow stop arrow because today, after a minor pullback, only closed 3.9% above the 50-day moving average. So certainly working some of those overbought conditions and taking that yellow stoplight sign off for now. And then long term above the 200-day moving average as well. What happened today? Well, we had FOMC and Powell came off a little bit hawkish, specifically when he said that he emphasized that um, there is scope to reduce rates once conditions are met, but large cuts are unlikely unless the labor market weakens significantly, and that's kind of when the market started to come down, but again, closed okay, only down 0.12% on the day. And then after hours, the Qs are making new all-time highs, very strong earnings reports from Microsoft, Meta, um, Carvana's up. So I'll cover those when we get into the charts, but really good action and numbers look pretty good. 21 over 21 list was up 1.91%, 16 green, 1 neutral, 4 red, Turbo 12 up 2.78% after all 12 being red today, 11 green and only 1 red on the day. Big 8 up 0.15%, RG8 up 0.41%, 60/40 stock and bond down 0.28%, flagship portfolio GROTECTION up 0.37% on the day, and TurboTection up 0.66% on the day. Let's get into the charts of inter-asset correlation. Alrighty, S&P 500 and, just bounced off the 8 EMA. Right? FOMC started at 2. Initially, rates unchanged as expected. Initially tried to pop back up and then sold off aggressively, basically when Powell said not likely for cuts in September. Found support around the 8 EMA and rallied up into the close. And then after hours were up again as well on the big tech earnings. But again, this 8 EMA is a great line in the sand, and as long as that holds, the bulls remain in control. And as long as the 21 holds, the bulls are in control. And this 50 days inching back up, now only 4% above the 50-day moving average. And it's back, at 61.16. So good action from the bulls today. RSP pulling back to the 21, holding for now, maybe handles out under this pivot. Qs, again, just textbook bounce off the 8 EMA. And this is why, you never know how high the market can go and how long the trend can last. The Qs are still 4.9% above the 50-day moving average, so still kind of high. And as you can see, up almost 1% after hours on the heels of good earnings. We'll see when the conference calls start if there's any more volatility. But again, with just no reason to fight the market and just continues to trend higher. Let's see. Mag 7 continuing higher, breaking out after hours to this 58.69 pivot. Dow Jones Industrial Average bouncing off the 21 today. Mid caps holding the 21 again today. That's a good sign. Russell 2000 bouncing off the 21 as well. Want to see this 2200 spot hold. ARC not breaking the 21 and actually starting to flag here, looking very constructive. FFTY bounced off the 8. VIX popped back up, but closed sub 16. And you can see, again, it just rallied, tried to get back up. There wasn't really any real fear in the market, and then came back and closed sub 16. That's exactly what we want to see. The dollar, day 3 follow through, again, something we're monitoring. Continues to be really strong, and that coincides with gold starting to break down here, back below the moving averages, GDX as well, looking to lose the 50-day here. Silver, big break of the 21 today. Bitcoin's sitting right at the 21. And one thing to watch out for, chart looks great, just tight consolidation flag. Just don't want to see this get too tight for too long. But as long as that 21-day holds and this 63.70, the top of the base, Bitcoin looks fine. Just looks like it's consolidating for the next leg higher. Bonds inside day today, TLT, same thing. And then rates trying to rally back up into the cluster moving average, TNX as well. Alrighty, that's the inter-asset correlation. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. And so with this pullback in the markets, percent of stocks above the 5-day moving average down to 25. So that's good to see. Good risk to reward there. News-wise, I mentioned FOMC and just some other notable items from that. Yeah, Paul stressed there is no preset course for rate cuts. Decisions will depend on incoming data. He said labor market conditions remain solid with unemployment at 4.1% and payroll gains averaging 150,000 per month while wage growth is moderating, but still above inflation. He noted the neutral rate is uncertain and can't be pinpointed with confidence. And then added that there's scope to reduce rates once conditions are met, but large cuts are unlikely unless the labor market weakens significantly. And that was the main notable from FOMC. Tomorrow we have PCE report, and then Friday a jobs report. Keys going in today. S&P closed above that 8 EMA. See if they can take out all-time highs tomorrow. Q's above the 8. Russell above the 8 and see 22.83. And then dollar day 3 follow through that continues to be strong. And then going into Thursday, going to be watching the same stuff. 27 days above the 8 EMA, 67 days above the 21 EMA. Sectors wise, biotech, utility, semiconductors, uranium, and financials. And then weakness, oil, gold, builders, real estate. GROTECTION today, no changes, 1.14 beta, 5.12% open heat. TurboTection sold yin and SSK, 1.94 beta, 4.72% open heat. Bottom line, hawkish Fed, but big tech names deliver on earnings after hours. All right, let's get into some charts of interest. All right, we'll start with the 21 over 21 list. A-Lab, awesome day for this one. We own this in TurboTection and up almost 9% on the day. And that was the thing. The markets were pulling back today, the indexes specifically, but most of the leaders, the Turbo 12 and the 21 over 21 list crushed it today. And stocks are always one of your best indicators along with the indexes. And the way the leaders were holding up when the market was pulling back seemed to be like a sign, and A-Lab's great example, closed high of the day, breaking out of this flag, really good action there. Credo, another new high, up 6%, right? Getting short term, pretty extended, right? 6 days up in a row, but maybe this handles out, but super strong. DraftKings, really nice breakout from this handle. Flutter's another one that looks great. VST breaking out through 200, extremely strong. GEV, no give back whatsoever since this earnings gap just continues to trend higher. And, the earnings growth is robust and this is owned in both portfolios and just awesome action. Reddit, this one's up 2.5% after hours. This reports tomorrow, so it's gonna be on the list to watch for an earnings gap. Got a really nice tight range here. See if we can get through. ANET, really nice trend, just continuing higher up the right side. Robinhood, this one reported earnings roughly flat, but given this move, flat's fine as this is kind of extended. So we'll see how this acts tomorrow. NVIDIA, new highs again today. That is not bearish whatsoever. DoorDash, just getting tight under this 250 pivot. Coinbase, nice reclaim of the 21 today. Palantir, nice tight rate, tight mini flag there at the highs. AMD continuing higher. MP, undercut and reclaim of the 8 EMA. APP, super tight. Power 3 here with the 821 and 50. They all super coiled. APH, bounce off the 8 EMA. PWR, flagging here at the highs. AVAV, flagging here as well. CCJ, finding support at the 21 day. See if this maybe breaks out. SoFi, pretty notable today. I talked about really nasty earnings day action and then gap down lower on a mixed shelf offering. But this is put in a really nice reversal off the 21 day and definitely worked off some of those extensions. So today's low is going to be a key line in the sand for this one, but this one looks good. And in the same sector, you had Upstart that's acting quite well. Affirm not too bad as well. So keep an eye on that. And then GDX breaking the 21 here. Turbo 12, Galaxy, really nice day. Found support at the top of this IPO-based breakout, coincided with the 21 and having quite the day, up 8% today. TSSI, undercut reclaim of the 21, looks good. This one's got pretty explosive growth here. Sezzle continues to find support at 50-day moving average and kind of breaking out of this range. Again, one of the strongest names off the lows. First pullback to the 50-day moving average and seeing a nice bounce. SYM flagging here in a high tight flag at the highs. SMCI continuing higher. Sag undercut and reclaim of the 21 day, looking pretty good. KTOS undercut and reclaim of the 8. This one's starting to flag out, building higher lows here. AS trying to break out from this really tight. Got the 821.50 all clumped together. So maybe 40 would be the true breakout on this one. Viking Therapeutics, Viking Holdings continuing higher in a strong sector. MIR as well. LEU finding support at the 21 day. Good action there. And then SSK sold this in turbo, just no feedback. We'll look to re-engage, starts to hook back up, build some higher lows. Still like Solana, but just no feedback there. And then the other trade in turbo sold yin. Just no follow through in China. China's a tough trade, tough area of the market to time, just like commodities. And I will give an example here. Look at FCX. FCX, huge down day today, down 10%. And this was on Trump copper tariffs, 50% formalized via executive order. And this is crazy for CPER copper index down 19%. That's a huge move for copper. So something to keep an eye on. But that's huge move. And if you use like Thinkorswim /HG, that's the copper futures, and can't really find a bigger candle ever for copper. And you can see here, like this is just huge reversal. So something to keep an eye out moving forward. Some other notable RBRK, this is owned in both portfolios. This had quite a good day here. One stock. Yeah, RBRK, sorry, their market surge update. I was confused for a sec. This had a really nice day, up 7% on the day. And after that mixed close yesterday, really firing back today. And when I look at this weekly chart, this is one of the best weekly charts I see in the market right now, kind of base on base pattern here, undercut and reclaiming the 10-week moving average. This was one of the strongest names off the April lows, pulled back, built pretty defined consolidation. Reclaimed all key moving averages, nice volume coming in. So yeah, that one's acting quite well. Let's take a look at some of the earnings as well. We can take a look at Carvana, new all-time highs for Carvana. Pretty amazing, 386 after hours. And just not so long ago, this was a $4 stock. So pretty incredible and good to see this in new highs, up 15%. Let's see, I covered Hood. Microsoft up 7%, was already extended into the print and just new highs again at 550 after hours. Meta, another monster move as well. New all-time highs, 756 after hours, up 9%. You got ARMS, one of the weak links. This one's down 8%, back to that 150, which looks like that's the 200 day. Well, it's the 50-day moving average, 145. So we'll see what that has in store for tomorrow. And then Qualcomm reported as well. I believe they're down 4%. The stock hasn't really done a whole lot. So, and then Hood, which I covered, this one, is up 2% now at 108, but being pretty extended into the print, you can't really complain too much about that one. But overall, a lot of leaders acted quite well. Some people got spooked with this intraday move, but closed decent, closed back above the 8 EMA. and it's not too bearish. And then there is a slew of other earnings tomorrow as well. Let's see. Yeah, tomorrow after the close, Amazon's reporting. That's going to be a big one. You got MSTR, not as concerned. You have Coinbase, which we own this in TurboTaction. See how this one acts. You have Reddit, which I mentioned tomorrow. So some more interesting ones. You also have Cloudflare. This is net. This one's been super strong. So another notable name that's going to be reporting earnings after the bell, and we will have to see how they react. But overall, as evident through the 21 over 21 list and Turbo 12 list, many of the leaders held up quite well. Indexes found support at short-term moving averages. Qs are in new highs after hours. So again, all in all, pretty positive, especially with Powell coming across a little bit hawkish, but again, markets struggling that off and the dips continue to get bought. And until that changes, so we remain bullish here at Revere. So ride the trend, ride the wave. That's what we've been saying. So that is going to wrap it. As I always like to hear from you. My email is connor@revereasset.com, or you can always reach out to Dan or Don at revereasset.com. Phone is 855 Real Wealth, 855-732-5932. And if you're ever interested in becoming a client, as always, please reach out. Thank you guys for watching. Give it a like, subscribe, comment, and see you guys tomorrow.